Today we're casting turn 2 Blood Moon and trying to blow up all our opponent's lands, which means we're teaching Arena Zoomers about Ponza. So you're probably wondering, what in the world is Ponza? And that's a fair question, because the name's kinda nonsensical. So here's the short version of the story. Back in the 90s, a Magic player by the name of Brian Cowell made a new deck by adding land destruction to his red deck. And since Brian made the deck, he also got the honor of naming the deck. And back in the 90s, there was this trend of naming Magic decks after foods, mostly breakfast cereals, but any food could work. And it turns out that Brian really loved this certain deep-fried calzone dish from a restaurant in his hometown in Wisconsin, and that calzone dish was called the Ponza Rata. So Brian decided he would name his new deck after his favorite deep-fried calzone, and Ponza was born. And now today, 25 years later, we still refer to mid-rangey land destruction decks by the Ponza name. So the plan of our Ponza deck, like any Ponza deck, is pretty straightforward. We're trying to, on turn 1, do a little ramping with Delighted Halfling or Utopia Sprawl because we really want to stick a Blood Moon on turn 2. This plan is so much better now thanks to Khans of Tarkir, because now we have fetch land, so we can fetch out our basic forest so we don't get wrecked by our own Blood Moons. It also turns on our Utopia Sprawls, so we stick our Blood Moon on turn 2, hopefully lock our opponent out of doing much of anything, and then if our opponent finds some basic lands, we have Stone Rains and Karn the Great Creator say Liquid Metal Coating to snipe whatever basics they play, to essentially just lock our opponent out of playing Magic altogether. And then if we actually have to win the game and our Arena Zoomer opponent doesn't just scoop in frustration once they're hard locked, we can beat them down with a Wormcoil Engine, a Bloodbraid Alpha Clothis, or something like that. So how good is Ponza on Magic Arena in Timeless? Can we teach some Arena Zoomers some harsh life lessons about not being able to play Magic thanks to land destruction and Blood Moon? Let's jump into some games, play some Ponza, and find out. Need some Magic cards? Well, you can snag them from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. We've got new tokens and playmats, and you can even get the tokens signed if you want. Check them all out over at mtggoldfishmerch.com. It is time to teach some Arena Zoomers the joy of Ponza. I love Ponza. Oh, I am so excited for this deck and this format. What's this hand do? I mean, I think we keep it. I mean, this isn't the turn 2 Blood Moon Dream, but it's a good hand. We got a little ramp, we got some land destruction. Ooh, opponent. Is it? Oh, Ragavan. Ragavan! Well, thankfully I have this lightning bolt. Another format with the stupid monkey. Well, we will kill the Ragavan. Opponent. All right, no, not another one. Oh, this might be a quick one. Yeah, Ragavan's an issue. So not only is Ragavan just an annoyingly strong card, it makes treasures, which let our opponent function through a Blood Moon, which is not ideal. Yeah, that's unfortunate. We had the answer to the first Ragavan, but not the second one. Well, I mean, if there's a way we can get out of this only taking one Ragavan hit, we might be okay. Opponent steals a Delighted Halfling. Like, if we draw land, we can Slam Chandra kill Ragavan. We can also, I guess, play a really sad Rune Blaster and try to block Ragavan. It doesn't seem like a great plan. Yeah, this is not looking the best. Opponent bobble draws. I mean, we did come here to blow up lands. And blow up lands we will. Stone Rain you. Although, since our opponent has our Delighted Halfling and a Ragavan, I don't know how effective the Stone Rain's gonna be. The power of Stone Rain in Ponza. So, remember the idea of this deck. Stick the Blood Moon, hopefully on turn 2. Okay, Brainstorm, that's fine. Stick the Blood Moon on turn 2, and then the Stone Rains can clean up whatever slips through the Blood Moon is the main idea about it. Not a good Brainstorm. Arena players do not know how to brainstorm. Well, okay, I guess the Consider actually improves it. I mean, I guess if they were digging for like a Spell Pierce, that would also make sense. But we get to blow up a land. See what our opponent does. More Polluted Delta-ing. And gets and hits us. Down to 14. Ragavan makes a treasure, makes us sad. How about just putting lures in your hand? That would be fine. Well, the good news is, oh, Death Shadow. Oh boy. Okay. So the good news here is, It does look like our opponent's going to be playing a lot of non-basics because they are, so even though they are a somewhat red deck, because they're playing Ragavan, because they're a Death Shadow deck, opponent considers, because they're a Death Shadow deck, they're going to be playing a lot of fetches and shocks to try to support Death Shadow. So I think Blood Moon's probably still going to be good in this matchup. Maybe not the absolute, like, dream matchup, but I think it's still going to be pretty good. Well, they don't get a treasure from Ragavan because we have a 1-ring. We're going to draw right now when they can't flash a Bowmasters in. Yup. Gonna draw some cards. Exiles with another Death Shadow. Yeah, that's going to be an issue. That's a lot of Death Shadows. We have Brotherhood Ends, but they're in the sideboard. Draws us a Blood Moon. So we can play the Blood Moon. I mean, so the other upside of Blood Moon is it shuts down the fetches and shocks, so it should make it hard for our opponent to grow their Death Shadows. Like, play the Blood Moon to turn off the shocks, and then play Delighted Halfling as a blocker? Like, if the Death Shadows are only 1/1s, they actually don't get through this Delighted Halfling. Oh, opponent, mono red Death Shadow. I think we just got to kill the Ragavan to keep our opponent from making more functional mana. Oh, that kills us. Oh, well, good play, opponent. They'll lightning bolt the face to grow the Death Shadows. All right. You got us this time, Arena Zoomer. Well, let's bring in some Brotherhood Ends. We'll go down a couple Rune Blasters. Yeah, I mean, one of the nice things about this deck is because we got a Karn board, we don't got to think too much about sideboarding. Like, Karn's gonna do most of the sideboarding for us. We just need a faster Blood Moon. That's the problem. Blood Moon not fast enough that game. We need Blood Moon on turn 2 on the play to really just send a message. Well, I mean, all right, no Blood Moon, but this once again is a good hand. We can't ship this hand. We got Delighted Halfling into Season Pyro. The good news about this is this should mean we're not getting rolled by Ragavan, which is huge. Ragavan is really what snowballed that last game for our opponent. All right, Bloodstained Mire cracks it. Watery Grave untapped down to 17. And Thoughtseize. What do they take? Take the Karn. I guess that makes sense. Well, in that case, I think we just get down the Season Pyro. I think we actually even pitch the Brotherhood End here. We'll keep the fetch, because we might need a forest if we find a Blood Moon. So 1-ring, like, it's obviously very strong, but I assume our opponent is a Orcish Bowmaster deck. So it might not be quite as strong as it looks. We could just channel this Tokenzan and smash. Yeah. Grab a forest for Blood Moon purposes. So the secret to a Blood Moon mana base, you want a lot of fetches that can get the basics that are not mountains. So all of our fetches can fetch basic forests. And then if we need red mana, they can also grab Stomping Ground. But we assume that once we have Blood Moon, all of our lands are going to be red anyway. Arena Zoomers and their brainstorms. Okay, so little brainstorm lesson while your opponent's resolving this. Here's 2 things you're probably doing wrong with brainstorm. And yes, keep Orcish Bowmasters in mind and so forth. Like, this isn't a super hard and fast rule, but in general, you want to cast brainstorm when you have a fetch land. If you just brainstorm, draw 3, put 2 cards back, it is a unplayably bad Magic card. Like, you don't want to be doing that. Because, like, look what our opponent did here. They draw 3 cards, they put 2 cards back, now they're just going to draw those cards anyway. So they saw cards a little bit quicker, but it didn't really change anything that's going on. So number 1, try to have a fetch land. Even, like, hold on to your brainstorms rather than firing them off. Ooh, that lightning bolt. Let's get rid of this. Well, if we can kill this, we might just get the beatdown win. All right, opponent's going to counter. Well, in that case, we will 1-ring and start drawing some cards. So that's lesson number 1. Don't be afraid to hold on to your brainstorms until you find your fetch land. You don't have to fire it off. It's often better to wait until you can get full value out of it. The other thing is, I know it's instant, and you know, Zoomers, if you let's draw a card here. Let's draw a card real quick. 2 cards, play forest, and we will, I think we'll just, maybe run out Blood Moon. Oh, we mistapped. They do get to crack this fetch. They can get a basic here, probably a swamp, maybe. I think that means our opponent's probably playing a single basic. Wow, enjoy your mountains. This Lurrus is not is not going to be hitting the battlefield. The other lesson of Brainstorm is, I know it's an instant, but it's usually better to play it during your main phase. Often better to play it in your main phase. Again, not a hard and fast rule, but usually you want to main phase it. So if you're drawn to something you want to cast, you can play it right away rather than waiting and doing it at instant speed and then having to wait till you untap and blah, 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 blah. So those are the two big lessons. Wait for your fetches, cast it main phase. Let's see if we can bolt this Death Shadow, get it out of here. All right, opponent. They're all about that bolt their own face plan. Well, they don't have any black mana, so no Bowmasters to worry about. This is pretty good. I mean, Season Pyro is going to make a lot of blockers, enough that I don't think we're going to die to this Death Shadow, and yeah, opponent scoops it up. Well, that's the power of Blood Moon. It wasn't the fastest Blood Moon ever, but still got the job done. I think this format's going to be a big deal for Arena, honestly. We'll see, maybe it ends up like super broken and no one likes it, but so far, I am absolutely loving Timeless. All right, Arena Zoomer. All right, Arena Zoomer. Can we get a turn 1 Blood Moon or turn 2 Blood Moon hand? There's no turn 1 Blood Moons on Arena, unfortunately, but turn 2 is realistic. Ooh, okay. That is a turn 2 Blood Moon hand. I mean, this is why we play the deck. Like, this is the hand that we want. Turn 1 Mana Dork, turn 2 Blood Moon, Stone Rain to clean up our opponent's apparent 1 basic. All right, opponent, let's see what you got. Fetch land, cracks. Yeah, I mean, our opponent's all in on the fetch land plan because of Death Shadow, Steam Vents, and DRC. Sure. Okay, we probably don't need even more Blood Moons deck, but thank you. We do love our Blood Moons. What if Vials? Crack it. Well, I mean, let's see if our stuff lives. I guess the upside of 2 Blood Moons is we definitely don't have to have any fear about just slamming them. Are you going to get your basic? You could get basics, opponent. You are playing fetch lands. That is a legal play. Blood Moon, turn 2. Do you have a counter? Oh, no. Do they actually have a counter? Well, if they're going to counter spell, they got to get a non-basic, and then maybe Blood Moon number 2 gets, All right, so they have a counter spell. But that does force our opponent to not get their basic land. All right, opponent. Well, this is your turn, because we're going to Blood Moon you again next turn. The more mana our opponent taps, the less likely this second Blood Moon is to get. If we stick this Blood Moon, I think we win. Especially with the Stone Rain in hand. Mills, draws. This is a good use of Brainstorm. Also with the Brainstorm thing, sometimes you're just desperate and you got to cast it when you can. Like, if sometimes you're just like, I really need a land, I got to do what I got to do. So, wow. Oh, is our opponent Brainstorm locked? Oh, and they're Brainstorm locked. Oh, teaching Arena Zoomers the joy of being Brainstorm locked. Blood Moon you, and opponent, we know they're not drawing lands for the next 2 turns because they just put 2 cards back on the top of their deck with that Brainstorm. Not that it matters since their lands are mountains now, so they lightning bolt the Delighted Halfling. DRC does help. I guess they can mill this non-land. So as long as we can kill this Dragon Rage Channeler, the game should be over, because I don't think our opponent's gonna... Ooh, there's a Ragavan. Oh no. All right, Fable the Mirror Breaker. Let's play the Beseiju. All right, we do need this. Well, okay, there's some risk. There's some risk. Our opponent's still kind of awkwardly in this. If they kill the token, hit us with Ragavan, they get a mana they can actually use. Mountain. Mountain. Oh, just taking the Luris? Okay. I mean, they're never casting that Luris. I don't know if their deck has the ability to cast that Luris. I guess they'd have to Ragavan. Well, we will discard. Yeah, let's go both Stone Rains. Our opponent doesn't have enough basics for us to really worry about it. Well, this works. So we get to play the Delighted Halfling to have another blocker, play the Mountain, Karn. And I think we have, what, 5, 6 mana? We just snake the Worm Coil. And opponent scoops it up and, well, that's how you Ponza. That is how you Ponza. Nice try. Nice try, Arena Zoomer. Nice try. We are teaching Arena Zoomers about Ponza. Oh, I'm so glad this deck exists on Arena now. All right, opponent. What are you up to? Another Luris deck. I will say, early impressions of Timeless, lots of Lurises. Lots of Lurises. People love their Lurises. Also, I think Arena players are addicted to Mishra's Bauble. Like, Mishra's Bauble is really good. Opponent's gonna kill her Delighted Halfling. Well, that's a shame, because we wanted to turn 2 Blood Moon, but I guess we'll have to settle for turn 3 Blood Moon. Let's play the fetch, pass the turn. I swear Arena players are addicted to Mishra's Bauble. A lot of decks do want Bauble, but if you don't have any synergies for it, I don't think it's worth it. And a lot of players just slam it. Crack the Wooded Foothills. Grab a Forest. I mean, this is actually interesting. Do we Blood Moon or Stone Rain? I think we just Blood Moon. They can crack the fetch to get a swamp. But if they get a swamp, then we can Stone Rain the swamp next turn to cut our opponent off of mana. All right. Bowmasters pings us. We have multi-removal spells, so that's fine. Like, we're not just going to die to the Bowmasters. We're more concerned about a rock. Speak of the monkey. All right, opponent dashes a Ragavan, gets a treasure. Well, now we definitely have to bolt the Ragavan. We can't let our opponent just keep making treasures. Let's bluff this swamp. Opponent's gonna, okay, they spend the treasure to memory lapse. I think this is okay. So we're getting the Stone Rain back next turn. I assume they're gonna dash the Ragavan again. If you did it once, you're gonna do it twice. Yeah, and now we definitely bolt the Ragavan. And as long as we can get rid of, like, find another removal spell or two, we should be good. Oh, that hurts. Thoughtseize to Chandra. Well, I mean, we're definitely Stone Raining the swamp. So opponent has only red mana, down to all mountains. They still do have a Bowmasters, though, and the token. Oh, come on now. Seriously? Another, now we're probably dead. Yeah, another Ragavan. Stealing a Blood Moon, which we didn't want. Dragon Rage Channeler. Pegs it up. We draw, yeah. The second Ragavan, that's the one that gets us. That's the one that gets us. Oh, well, Brothers Hoods ends in. Rune Blasters, Chandra, Bloodbraid out, and run it like that. On to game number 2, we get to be on the play. That second Ragavan. We can deal with one monkey, the second one though. Well, this is a turn 2 Blood Moon hand. And this one doesn't even relay in a mana dork. We got the Utopia Sprawl, so our opponent needs, they need a Thoughtseize. Or they are going to be playing with mountains this game. Opponent Greg's Blue to Delta. Do they have the foresight to get a basic land? Yes. All right, opponent gets a swamp. Deathrite Shaman. Brothers Aden's actually pretty good. We're gonna play this Blood Moon for future purposes. So Deathrite can let our opponent kind of function. So they have a swamp. There's a Dragon Rage Channeler and a Bobble and Surveils. We might have to just fire off Brothers Aden next turn. They're milling lands with the DRC to fuel the Deathrite Shaman. Could use a Stone Rain. Wouldn't mind getting rid of the swamp. Getting rid of the swamp would be nice. Opponent's going to upkeep Crack the Bobble. Seems correct. That's usually the best time to do it. Well, Stomping Grounds and Utopia's Brawl. Green? We're gonna have all the red mana. And yeah, let's just sweep away them dorks. Opponent can drain us if they want with the Deathrite, that's fine. Are they making mana? They're gonna brainstorm, okay. Yeah, I mean, this is not a great brainstorm. Fetches are off for the rest of the game thanks to Blood Moon, so that's fine. Opponent does get to draw with the Bobble. Well, we got some cards. Hopefully these cards are enough. Another Dragon Rage Channeler. Another all right, so that's instant replay. Well, let's play the land, play the Karn. These are gonna be one-shot use Karns because of our opponent's DRC. I think it's either One Ring or Wormcoil. Oh, actually, Chalice seems really good. Opponent's got a lot of 1-drops. We also have a lot of 1-drops, but let's Chalice on 1. That actually shuts down. Ew, they have a Lightning Bolt. Okay. That actually shuts down a lot of our opponent's deck. Deathrite, DRC, Ragavan, Lightning Bolt, Thoughtseize. Like, this actually seems like a good Chalice on 1 mat. We have actually done the Mono Red Prison thing. We have full-on Mono Red Prison. Opponent gets it, hits us. Got the Blood Moon, got the Chalice. Take down the Karn. I mean, we got the mana. We can't get Thoughtseize now. All right, Wormcoil versus the world. Does Wormcoil race? Unfortunately, because of this DRC, our opponent can play the Lurrus. I imagine they can't kill the Wormcoil. Can they kill us? They can hit us for 3 in the air. I mean, this Blood Moon is still hurting them, right? So they can exile a land. Yeah, gonna hit the card. They can exile a land to play the Lurrus. But if they do that, they can't Deathrite drain us. Would really love to find just one more Brothers at end. I think one more Brothers at end would just put this game away, like full on GG. Mishra's Bobble. Yeah, so opponent's gonna be drawing 2 cards a turn. The question is, how many of their cards are actually functional now? Yeah, I wonder if we should play more Chalices. Chalice on 0 actually shuts down this loop. Although I guess Graveyard Hate also does. Well, opponent drawing cards, doing Lura stuff. We are going to slam a Wormcoil Engine and see if it's enough. Opponent takes a peek, sure. Well, there's Wormcoil. Can you beat it, opponent? Can you beat a Wormcoil? Wormcoil is such a boomer card too. Teaching Arena Zoomers about Wormcoil Engine. Opponent, bobble. Yeah, they're gonna do this for a minute. Miniatures Bob. I forgot how annoying Lura's bobble loops are. At least you gotta pay mana. Remember when Lura's was not nerfed? Draws an extra card, gets in the air. I mean, I think we can maybe win this race though, right? Assuming our opponent can't add more to the battlefield. This Chalice is gonna do some serious work. So, well, get in with the Wormcoil. Gain back 6. Opponent goes to 13. We can't really just sit back at the moment because we'll lose to the Dragon Rage Channeler, right? So if we just sit back and play defense, the combination of Dragon Rage Channeler Deathrights, 5 a turn. Opponent, bobble, surveils, cracks it, peeks. They're gonna know everything we're drawing. We would like to draw a non-1-drop. Non-land, non-1-drop. Actually, we have a bunch of like Seasoned Pyros and Fables in our deck. Something like that would be good. Opponent hits us to 8 temporarily. I bet Chalice actually, Sokenzen's actually kind of cute. I bet Chalice actually hits a huge percentage of our opponent's deck. I would not be surprised if that's hitting like, I don't know, 75% of their non-lands or something. Like they are gonna have a lot of uncastable cards. I'm trying to think what 2-drops. Bowmasters make sense, but outside of Bowmasters, what other 2-drops would they theoretically have? All right, bobble. Mills a uncastable monkey. Yeah, so chalicing ourselves is a bit awkward, but remember we do have... Yeah, let's channel this. We're gonna try to double block this Lurus. If we can get rid of Lurus, we'll feel really good. There's definitely a pretty good chance they have a Bowmasters by now, but if they do, there's not much we can do about it. Yeah. Well, there's one of the castable cards. Opponent's got so many cards in hand, they just don't do anything. The Lurus lives. Opponent draws. Ooh, Clothis is actually nice. That's pretty good. The 6 a turn is somehow keeping us alive against 5 creatures. Clothis is big. That's 2 life a turn, and it can tax the Lures, and it can tax his Death Ray. Unfortunately, this Dragon Rage Channeler, the Surveil every turn is actually pretty huge for our opponent. Like, their cards are pretty useless, but just getting them in the graveyard to power up DRC, power up Death Ray, Lures to some extent is pretty big. This is getting awkward, though. Oh, they're making mana now. Do they have Treasure Cruise? They're looking at their... That's fine. Like, our opponent can really draw all the cards they want at this point. I don't think it matters. They can't cast him through the Chalice. So, like, I'm not sure what they're drawing into that's actually a problem for us. They can do this all day, but Blood Moon, the combination of Blood Moon and Chalice is really, really pulling its weight now. Part of the upside, too, of Chalice is it can protect the Blood Moon. Opponent. Yeah, gonna go on a bit of a cruise. Yeah. Probably discards a bunch of them to hand size because they're all 1-drops and we have a Chalice. Opponent gets in. Oh, they also shrunk their DRC for a turn. I mean, it will refill because they're going to discard to hand size and surveil, but we took 2 less points of damage, which is nice. So I think with Closest, step 1, snipe. Yeah, there's 4 1-drops. Snipe Bobbles first. Oh, Lightning Bolt. Cannot cast that. Yeah, start sniping Bobbles. If we can get rid of the Bobbles, we can stop the card draw, even though, like, I still don't know how much it matters. We have not really done much of anything since we got this Wormcoil, and we're still somehow surviving. Oh, no, more Bowmasters. Okay. Oh, man, maybe this plan's not gonna work. So the problem, we really need... Oh, boy, we have draws that just end this game. If we can just find a... Brotherhood end, that ends it. So the problem we have now is they can just keep playing this Bowmasters every turn. I think our opponent has also realized that with Chalice out, drawing cards does not do much. But this is going to grow the army, and it gives them like an infinite chump blocker. Can we draw something? What a weird game. Okay. Stone Rain. Stone Rain's something. Well, let's eat a bauble. So we can Stone Rain the swamp. There is value in Stone Raining the swamp. Go back up to 14. So now our opponent's only black source is his Deathrite Shaman. All right, memory lapses. Well, I guess next turn we'll be blowing up that swamp. That does mean we're drawing Stone Rain next turn. Nice mountain. I'm Archetypes Bowmasters. Again, grows the Orc. And Ragavan. I think they just want a creature in the graveyard for the the Dragon Rage channel. That makes sense. All right, about it. Gets in. So they're gonna try to kill the Worm Coil? That's interesting. It looks like they are. All right, well, we draw the Stone Rain. We exile. At this point, it really doesn't matter. I guess spells they could theoretically exile. Well, I don't know if any of this matters anymore. We mostly just need the 2 life. So we'll hit a Treasure Cruise. Stone Rain, get rid of the swamp. If they want to kill our Worm Coil, I think that's okay. Like, we go up to 15. They lose both Bowmasters and the big army. And then we're still gonna get the worm tokens. We have just not drawn any of our like Fables or Seasoned Pyros. I mean, I assume our opponent's gonna start doing the same thing. I mean, we're at 15 though. We're only taking 2 a turn. Now that there's no swamp, we're actually taking 1. We're taking 3, but gaining back 2. So we actually can live like this for a minute. And sooner or later, no, are you gonna treasure? Okay. Or, oh, they need the black mana, right. Black mana, Bowmasters, pings us down to 11. Mountain. Well, we're also drawing lots of mountains. Well, we'll get rid of the second Bowmasters. They're not gonna trade their Luris. All right, they block with the Bowmasters. Play the land. I mean, we might be winning this. I think we're winning this in the sense that we've like essentially locked our opponent, and sooner or later we're gonna draw something that that actually seals the deal, like the Brotherhood end. Like once we find that, it actually just ends. Opponent gets it, hits us down to 13. They've surveilled so much, I don't think running them out of lands is realistic. I thought, like, is there any way we can Clothis away the lands? They just have too many in the graveyard. So I don't think there's any point. I think we need to just keep gaining the life and draining. Probably just overthinking it. Yeah, I'll just eat a brainstorm. There's not really any reason that matters, right? I don't think. What, we exile? Maybe we should just stay on defense. This probably makes more sense. Like, if we stop attacking, our opponent doesn't get to keep growing this army. I guess they can attack with the Bowmasters and we can just not block it. What a weird, long, grindy game. Like, it's so funny because these are some of, like, the most powerful cards currently in Magic, battling each other, and somehow you would think like, oh, it's gonna end real quick, like someone's gonna snowball. Somehow this is devolved into like the weirdest stand. I guess that's the power of Blood Moon and Chalice. Like it's devolved into this super weird standoff. We're on turn 20 or something. We're like struggling to kill our opponent. They're struggling to really do anything to us. Schwamp. What color are we making this time? Are they really going to treasure cruise again? What's the point? What's the point of treasure cruising with the Chalice out? Like, is there, maybe there's a world, yeah, the opponent's going to do it. Cruising for a bruising. There's a chance our opponent's only got 16 cards in their library. It seems somewhat realistic that we could mill them out. I mean, we should draw something before that, right? Sooner or later. Opponent, going to discard a bunch to hand size. Oh, praise the magic gods. All right, Fable the Mirror Breaker is an actual... We went like 10 turns casting, I think, a Clothis and a Stone Rain, and somehow we're still in this game. Well, Fable's huge. Fable is huge, huge, huge. Not only does Fable come down, yes, there's the Bowmasters, which is annoying, but in theory, we could use it to filter away some of these 1-drops. Opponent untaps. Yeah, opponent. We also just kill him with Clothis eventually. Wow. We got there though. Well, let's run it back. That was a ridiculously grindy game. On to game number 3. Can we close it out with a win? After the longest Longest Blood Moon game in the history of Magic. Can we Ponza our way to victory? Ooh. All right, no Blood Moon, but this is turn 2 Stone Rain. And we got Brothers to End, which is a card we wanted to draw the most last game. Yeah, Brothers to End seems pretty good against our opponent's deck. It seems like it just gets all their stuff. It is a little sketchy that it's Delighted Halfling. Delighted Halfling, it is a creature, so it could just die. Do they thought seize the Stone Rain just out of fear? Like, Stone Rain is the least powerful card in our hand overall, but no one likes getting their land blown up. Are you doing it? Are you really? They're hovering it. Are they gonna take it? Yes. It's so, people just like see red. They see red when they see land destruction. Look at our hand. Karn, One Ring, Mana Dork, Sweeper that gets literally every creature in our opponent's deck, and they take the stone. I mean, we don't know there. It could be the correct choice. Maybe they got a land light hand. Ooh. Oh yeah, if this is like Brainstorm because I don't have any lands, then it was definitely correct to take the Stone Rain. But still, it's funny because it is like, I think people overrate it just because of the feel bads of getting your lands blown up compared to its actual power level. Opponent, Bloodstained Mire cracks it. Shuffles away a couple of cards from their Brainstorm. Brainstorm's so good. Opponent, Greg Enraged Channeler, Mishra's Bauble, sure. You know what I would like to draw? I'd like to draw Blood Moon. Can we draw Blood Moon? Opponent, you're gonna peek at our deck. Is it a Blood Moon opponent? You can tell us. Opponent, you were supposed to tell us. Oh, this is bad news for our opponent. Would you like to be a mono red deck? Is there any argument to like playing Fable instead? I don't think so. We even have the Brothers that end this game. Like, we just do it, right? We jam the Blood Moon. Opponent, what's the worst case? They dash a Ragavan. That would be sad. Hopefully you got some red cards, opponent. Gets in with the DRC. Passes. Well, now we'll play the Fable. And pass the turn. No red cards? No red cards, opponent? Aww. Well, we will discard Brothers to Dead, Karn, no fear of the Bowmasters. We find a land. Get in. Oh, this one's done. This one's done. This is the Blood Moon Dream. This is the Slam the Blood Moon GG. One Ring. And yeah, this one's GG Arena Zoomer. GG. That was a wild match. Game 2 was so long and grindy, and then game 3 we got to see just the Blood Moon Dream of just getting them. Well, sweet. We are teaching Arena Zoomers about Ponza. And this looks like a turn 1 Blood Moon, or turn 2 Blood Moon hand, which is what we want. We even have Stone Rain backup. So, I mean, of course, this does depend on not getting Thoughtseize and the Deleted Halfling living. Bloodstained Mire cracks it. All right, what do you got? Blood Crypt untapped. And, all right, kills the Delighted Halfling. So that does slow us down a little. I swear arena players are addicted to Mishra's Bauble. I've never seen more Mishra's Baubles. It does work with Lurrus, so that makes sense. Wooded Foothills, go. Opponent, Hive the Eye Tyrant. Well, I don't know if Blood Moon's gonna be that good against our opponent's deck. It would cut them off of black mana. They're gonna take the One Ring. And Thoughtseize again. All right. I mean, maybe they take the Blood Moon because they want to play Lurrus. They do. All right. Well, we will crack this for a Stomping Grounds. We'll see what we draw. Now there's actually a question. Yeah, I think we just play Klothys. Klothys to snipe the Mishra's Bauble from the graveyard seems pretty good. Untap land. Thoughtseize, number 40. Passes. Ooh, we draw Chandra. That's actually pretty good. Well, we're gonna eat the Bauble, because that could come back with Lurrus. And we are going to Stomping Grounds, untap Chandra, tick it up. I mean, we're kind of just burning our opponent out of this game. Actually, they're kind of burning themselves out of the game by casting every Thoughtseize in existence. Stone Rain, hit you to 5. Can you deal with our Planeswalker? Runs on a Bowmaster, sure. Our opponent needs more than just that, though. I mean, we're officially a lightning bolt away from closing out this game at the moment. They can't play Sheoldred because they're a Lurrus deck. All right, so they hit the Chandra. They attack down the Chandra. Yeah. Well, that buys our opponent a minute, maybe. We will eat a Thoughtseize. Hit you to 3. Play a Delighted Halfling. All right. I mean, you got 2 turns, opponent, to kill us or start gaining some life somehow. Black Cleave Cliffs. Passing. Ooh, Rune Blaster. Rune Blaster is sweet. Eat one of these Thoughtseizes have really gotten our opponent here. They have really gotten our opponent. They got him on the way down, and now they're getting him on the way back. Colligan's Command, sure. You got rid of the blue Rune Blaster, opponent, but can you stop the Clothis, Hive of the Eye Tyrant, Luris, and Death? Well, we didn't really do what we were hoping to do. Boy, this is a bad Blood Moon matchup. That's a shame. Well, we'll bring in the Brotherhood Ends. One of the Graveyard Hate spells, probably Unlicensed Hearse. Well, maybe we just go 3 Brotherhood Ends. Actually, no, that's so good. Let's go down 1 Rune Blaster. Let's run it like that. This matchup, we're not going to do the fun thing because our opponent is very, very resilient to Blood Moon. They could even be playing Blood Moon. I mean, that is life as a Blood Moon player. There's going to be some matchups where it's like absurd, and there's going to be some matchups where it just doesn't do anything. The trick is to build your deck in a way when it doesn't do anything, you can still win. That's kind of the secret of a good Blood Moon deck. Well, it sounds kind of slow, but I think we keep it. Could really use a Mana Dork. That would be sweet. Utopia Sprawl would be our dream draw. Dragon Rage Channeler. And a Mishra Bobble. Gonna do a little surveilling. Mills a Ragavan. Cracks the Bobble. Takes a peek. We draw. Windswept Heath. Well, playing Windswept Heath fast turn. Opponent. Swamp. Dragon Rage Channeler number 2. And Inquisition of Kozilek. Well, opponent's off to a pretty fast start here. They're going to turn on these Dragon Rage Channelers. So we're going to need to draw Brotherhood End. All right, takes a Stone Rain. Turns on their dorks. Hits us. Well, we'll crack this. So Brotherhood End's the big draw. Lightning Bolt would be fine. That would at least kill one of these Dragon Rage Channelers. Or maybe we keep drawing Stone Rains. The Stone Rain's not looking great here. On the draw and no Mana Dork, opponent gets in down to 10. Deathrite Shaman. And all right, Brotherhood End. Utopia Sprawl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. That was a very good draw for our opponent. I'll give him that. Good news is we're on the play for game number 3. Honestly, I guess we should have just mulliganed that hand. It was a bit slow, and our opponent had a really fast draw to punish us. All right, this is much better. So we get to lead on Delighted Halfling. Follow it up by either Stone Raining our opponent's first land or Fabling. If our opponent kills our Halfling, we still have 3 lands, so we'll get to where we're going eventually. Opponent. Polluted Delta cracks it. Are they cracking for a 1-drop? Are they cracking for a Thoughtseize? Are they cracking for a Fatal Push? All right, Unholy Heat, sure. Well, Windswept Heath, go. Opponent, Inquisition of Kozilek. Well, I assume they take the Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Wow, they take the Stone Rain. Bloodstained Mire, and passes. Well, that's good. That means we get down the Fable of the Mirror Breaker, which is kind of huge. We'll take a Stomping Grounds tapped. There's a Brotherhood End. Well, play a Stomping Grounds untapped. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. So our opponent might be thinking, oh, this is fine, we got a Bowmasters. If that's what our opponent's thinking, we have the Lightning Bolt for the Bowmasters if we need it. All right, opponent gets a Blood Crypt tap. Probably not Death Shadowing then if they're getting tap lands. Black Cleave Cliffs. And, all right, opponent's aggressively spending their removal. We draw a land. All right, so there's a Bowmaster. We will Bolt the Bolt Master. Discard a couple lands. Play a Copperline, George, and pass the turn. So there goes the Brotherhood End. Opponent's definitely playing a lot of discard, that's for sure. Well, we're gonna play Karn. We're gonna take down the Karn. I think we just take the One Ring, play the land. The other option's Worm Coil. Opponent. All right, Unholy Heat on the Karn. and snags the Lurus. Hive of the Eye Tyrant passes. Well, I mean, we're gonna play the One Ring. And draw with the One Ring. Into even more One Rings. The bad news is our opponent can lure us into Bowmasters, so we're really gonna need to find another Brother's Hood end. That's kind of the TLDR here. There's the Lurus. If we do find the Brother's Hood end, our opponent is probably about done. All right, pings the Reflection, goes attacking. Yeah, I mean, we might as well trade. Plays the land. We draw a Lightning Bolt. Ooh. So we can kill the Bowmasters, draw. Oh, that's probably the best bet, but then they recast it. You know what, I think we do it. So we kill the Bowmasters. We draw with the One Ring. Stone Rain, the Hive of the Eye Tyrant. Pass the turn. So our opponent's gonna replay the Bowmasters. Maybe along with something else from their hand. No! All right. The worst thing that could happen here. By far. So opponent top decked a Thoughtseize, which they could use to get rid of the Brother's Hood end. And now we're dead, unfortunately. We draw a Lightning Bolt, so we can Lightning Bolt the Bowmasters. The problem is it just keeps coming back. Like, that's the issue here. Play a Forest. Utopia Sprawl. On red. Play another One Ring. Legend Rule. Draw with the One Ring. Pass the turn. The Bowmasters is the problem. Opponent plays another Bowmasters. Passes. We drop to 5. Karn is a good card, but it doesn't stop the Bowmasters. Yeah, I mean, we draw with the One Ring. Wow, that is so unfortunate. So we found the Brother's Hood end. Actually, is this okay? So we can... Maybe this is okay. 3 damage to each creature and Planeswalker. So we get rid of the Lurus and the Bowmasters. Play another One Ring. Legend Rule. Play the Wooded Foothills. Pass the turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8. All right, opponent's gonna get in, but we have protection, so this doesn't kill us. So we go to stay at 3. Draw with the One Ring. Utopia Sprawl, not helpful. Drop to 2. Rune Blaster. Draw with the One Ring. Play Karn. We take down Karn. Wormcoil Engine. Utopia Sprawl. Actually, wait. Oh, do we have to crack our fetch? 1, 2, 3. We do. All right. Down to 1. Get a Forest. Utopia Sprawl, the Forest on red. One more One Ring. Well, it all comes down to this. So we One Ring, we get protection. Play the Windswept Heath. Basically, we're trusting that this Wormcoil is going to save us. We'll see if it does. This would be a very impressive win. So our opponent gets to kill the Karn. The problem is, if they draw Bowmasters or a Lightning Bolt, then we just die. So opponent gets in, kills the Karn. Yep. That is the risk. So we stay at 1. Karn dies. Mishra's Bauble. We need to fade something for like a turn. Once we gain life with the Wormcoil, then we're out of the danger zone. But we need to fade for a turn. So opponent runs out the Ragavan. They get to draw a card. Come on. Oh, come on. What a comeback this would be. We play Wormcoil Engine. Season Pyromancer. Discard and... Actually, let's discard the Chandra. Discard. Well, this is it. This is the game. It all comes down to this draw. Do they draw Bowmasters or a Bolt? Do they draw a Bowmasters or a Bolt? Thoughtseize is not a Bowmasters or a Bolt. They're thinking, that's a good sign. They take the Season Pyro. Duress, okay. Wow, they got a lot of discard. And a land. Oh my God, we're gonna win this game. I am pretty confident now that we're gonna win this game. We draw another Seasoned Pyro, so we go to combat. We get in with a Worm Coil, gain 6. Opponent takes it. We can draw with the One Ring. Play a Delighted Halfling. Besiege you the Hive of the Eye Tyrant, since it has Menace. Seasoned Pyromancer. Wow, we're gonna win. What a ridiculous game. Oh my goodness, I can't believe we won this game. Utopia Sprawl on red. Delighted Halfling, go. We were so dead. What a comeback. What a ridiculous comeback. Did the Worm Coil come through in 2023? Good game. Wow. Wow, I can't believe we won that. Well, that was not a good Blood Moon game, but that was one of the most interesting games we played. That was the comeback of the century, really. Like, we were so dead and just clawing to stay alive with the Lurus looping the Bowmasters. And in the end, we stabilized it, literally 1 point of life. We had to feed that one draw step where if they drew damage, we were dead. And then Worm Coil came through. That was a good game. This format's so sweet. Oh, I love this format. Well, good game, Arena Zoomer. Ooh, all right. This hand, if we had a Mana Dork, this hand would be immaculate. Like literally exactly what we want. We do not have a Mana Dork, but that's fine. We're still gonna keep it. Yeah, with a Mana Dork, I guess we don't have the Blood Moon, but we would be able to like turn 2 Stone Rain on the play, which is, blowing up your opponent's first land is so good. And passes. Well, that's another Stone Rain. But we need to draw a Magic the Gathering land card. Okay, we draw land. Crack the Wooded Foothills. Mountain. Crack the Windswept Heath. I think we actually got to get Stomping Ground here. Get a Stomping Grounds, untapped. And Stone Rain your Swamp. See if they have a Bowmasters. That's our opponent's best play here, I think. All right, no Bowmasters. Well, that's good. So opponent down to 1 land for the moment. Gets another Swamp. Plays another Polluted Delta. This might be instant replay. Fable the Mirror Breaker. Well, okay, instant replay. Blow up your Swamp. Why are they playing fetches to get basics? That's kind of weird. Maybe they're delving. I guess if they have delve cards, it makes sense. Opponent gets another Snow-Covered Swamp. Well, it's seeming like they're playing around our Blood Moons. We would like to draw land. A land would be the best here because then we can get down a One Ring and start drawing cards. This is another matchup where Blood Moon just isn't going to do anything. Thankfully, Stone Rain doing some work, slowing the opponent down. I wonder what mono black is in this format. Could be like Storm. Could just be like a mid-rangey deck. What does our opponent take is the question. We basically just have a handful of card draw. Takes the Rune Blaster. That is literally the card I thought they were least likely to take. Well, Fable the Mirror Breaker. Yeah. Lightning Bolt's a good draw, because one thing we are a little worried about is, I think we just decline. We decline, we go to combat, get in with a Goblin. All right, get in, make the treasure. Down to 14, play a One Ring. I think we Stomping Grounds untapped, so we can bolt a Bowmaster if they play one in response to our One Ring. Opponent swamp. And the One Ring. All right, well, we will draw with the One Ring. Well, this is going to be interesting. We could use a Karn. Karn is what we want to find the most here. Karn to shut down our opponent's One Ring. Well, Bloodbraid does something. But we're going to draw with the One Ring. See if we can find a Karn. No. The Goblin to make a treasure. No damage, sadly. Bloodbraid, spin it to win it. Into Utopia Sprawl. On red. And play a Wooded Foothills. Pass the turn. Well, let's see what our opponent can find. One Ring draws. It's a little scary if they find like a Sheoldred. Sheoldred might be what we're most scared of here, honestly. Because that gains a ton of life with their One Ring and shuts down our One Ring. All right, there's the Sheoldred. Well, crack this. Grab a Stomping Grounds tapped. Untap. Get drained. Yeah, we will draw another One Ring. Well, okay. Copy the Goblin. Go to combat, do some attacking. The problem is our opponent's kind of incentivized just to do nothing, right? Yeah, opponent's just gonna take it. Well, this is gonna hurt. Draw with the One Ring. Find nothing. And die. Alright, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, we were worried about the Shieldred, and that worry came exactly true. We just could not find the Karn. That's what we needed to find, was we need to find the Karn. This is a very, very awkward matchup. Our opponent's playing all swamp, so that means a big chunk of our deck does literally nothing. That is very awkward. All right, well, I guess we run it like that. All right, we get to play first. I mean, we're gonna keep this. This hand's good. Utopia's Brawl on red. So we have some land destruction, we have some fables. We'll see if that's enough. Opponent swamp, and gonna thought seize. Are we going to take the Stone Rain out of fear? They are. Well, okay. Land and Fable the Mirrorbreaker. I mean, Fable the Mirrorbreaker is a pretty busted card. We'll see. We'll see if it's good enough. Opponent, Snow Cover Schwamp. Alright, we will discard 2 lands. Well, play the land, get in with the goblin. Make a treasure. Yeah, I mean, I think we just Karn. Play the Karn, take down the Karn. Wow, they have Shieldred's Edict. The good news for us is our opponent did that in response. They did that in response to our Karn activation, which means we get to take a One Ring rather than taking a Liquid Metal Coating, which is what we would have done. Opponent. All right, more Thought Seizing. Takes the One Ring, down to 14. And a Virtue of Persistence. I mean, opponent's fighting the good fight. Well, we'll play another Fable the Mirrorbreaker. Play the land, pass the turn. So opponent's trying to be like mono black control, I guess? Opponent passes. We will discard both. Ah, there's a One Ring. Let's start by go to combat, get in with the goblin. I was thinking about copying it, but it's probably better to wait because they could have removal, which they do. All right, opponent's got a lot of removal. I will give them that. Let's Utopia Sprawl on red. One Ring. Draw with the One Ring. Yeah, I think we hold the Haywire Might. Liliana. All right. Well, I guess we should have played it. Opponent taking up Liliana. The good news is we still have a One Ring going. So let's draw with the One Ring, play a Mountain, play a Clothis, and pass the turn. I mean, opponent needs to find something. If they tick up, I think we just... All right, they're gonna tick down. Yeah, we might still Lightning Bolt this Liliana, we'll see. Opponent, land. Is it a One Ring? Oh, they're gonna fire up the Foundry? Okay. Well, I think we are a land destruction deck. Blowing up a land with Lightning Bolt's not our main plan, but we will keep our opponent off Shieldred that way. Let's exile a... doesn't really matter. Exile Thoughtseize, gain a couple life. Draw with the One Ring. Draw not much with the One Ring. Well... Stone Rain you. I mean, opponent's gonna be back down to 2 lands here. Play this, I think, so we have to go full control. We want this mana to go away. Now we can pitch Soken'Zan. And, I mean, with our opponent having 2 lands, I don't know how they win this. How does our opponent possibly win this game? Even without Blood Moon, we are still finding ways to keep our opponent from playing Magic. Poor Arena Zoomers. Stomping Grounds, tapped. Well, we take a little from the One Ring. Exile a Liliana. Boy, we've drawn a lot of lands. Windswept Heath, crack Windswept Heath in the deck. I mean, I guess there is kind of a world, theoretically, where we die to our One Ring. Wow, holy nothingness. Delighted Halfling. Do we even have lands left in our deck at this point? I guess we need to find another One Ring. I mean, we might still just win the race. Opponent's only got 2 lands. They can't even Shieldred. So we might still be fine. Opponent more Fatal Push. So they are kind of just like mono black control with Dark Ritual, I guess. All right, finds lane number 3 for now. Well, there's another One Ring. That's good. Exile a Fatal Push. This Clovis life gain's been pretty big. Let's draw with the One Ring. Ooh, those are some goodies. So, Utopia Sprawl. We are not gonna let our opponent get above 2 lands. That's our goal. We are just gonna keep blowing up these lands. Stone Rain, a snow-covered swamp. And opponent, done, 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 done. No Blood Moon, no problem in this one. We probably do want this Bloodbraid Elf though. Bloodbraid does seem good. Brothers at End doesn't even seem that good, but we're gonna like that. Yeah, I can't believe we run into someone that's playing all basic swamps. What are the chances? What are the chances? Who plays all basic swamps in this format? Fetchlands just dropped, and our opponent is showing the ultimate restraint. Oh, I don't think we can keep it. I like this hand, but I don't think we can keep it. Oh god. I don't really like this hand, but I think we have to keep it. Well, Brothers at End to the bottom. That first hand, I learned my lesson temporarily about keeping one-landers. Just not doing it. Not doing it. Wooded Foothills, go. Oh, we have so many lands. Way too many lands. Opponent, snow-covered swamp. Well, in the deck. Get a Stomping Grounds. Since there's no Blood Moon, we might as well just fetch out the Stomping Grounds. Well, play a Forest. Utopia Sprawl on red. Still worth putting the Utopia Sprawls on non-dual lands just because of Field of Ruin effects. Even more lands. Well, okay, Windswept Heath go. If our opponent just ramps into Shieldred here, that's kind of bad. Alright, opponent just ramps into Shieldred here. That's kind of bad. Stomping Grounds, tapped. Well, we draw. More Utopia Sprawls. Well, okay, Utopia Sprawl on red. Wooded Foothills, we're just drawing nothing. We are drawing still nothing, and now there's a Shieldred. I think we actually lose this one. I think we actually found a deck that can beat us. Opponent attacks. Yeah, down to 12. We need to draw, like, I guess a Lightning Bolt to go with this Brothers at End. I guess we could draw another Brothers at End, but we need some combination of effects that get this Shieldred off the battlefield right about now. Karn. I'll play Karn. Take down Karn. Take a Wormcoil, I guess. I mean, Wormcoil's good, but I'm not sure it's even fast enough here. Wow, they top deck a Thoughtseize. Oh my good. Oh, we've run so bad. We have low rolled. Ah, disappointing. Yup. Wow. Well, Shieldred got the job done. We are teaching some arena zoomers about Ponza, and this hand's pretty slow. This is much better. This deck really would like a Mana Dork. This hand's actually pretty great. This is turn 2 Blood Moon, so assuming Blood Moon's good, then this hand should be good. You never know with Blood Moon. It is all right. Fast land. Is it? We would prefer our opponent not to want red mana, but that's not a deal breaker. Utopia Sprawl on red. Go. Opponent scoops it up. Okay, apparently our opponent, they knew the Blood Moon was coming. They knew it was coming. They had the fear. They saw that Utopia Sprawl and were just out of here. Unfortunately, I have no idea what our opponent's up to. No idea. That was, honestly, they probably missed a land drop. Our opponent, it seems like Mulligan missed their second land drop and we're just like, I'm done. We're gonna keep this. This hand is pretty land heavy, although we do have 2 channel lands, which helps a little bit. Opponent going to 5. Steam Vents. We will crack Wooded Foils. Hand has all the manas, that's for sure. Utopia Sprawl on red. And opponent. Mountain. All right, so maybe Blood Moon's not gonna be that good in this matchup. If they're playing basic mountains, that's a concern. That is a concern. Well, get down the Delighted Halfling. Opponent. Oh, Creative Outburst. All right, so they are probably the Geological Appraiser combo deck. Discover combo. Well, we got Lightning Bolts. That's a bit of good news. I guess it could also be some sort of like Torrential Gearhulk pile, but my bet would be Discover combo. Well, Utopia Sprawl, we have so much mana. We have all the mana. We could be casting Eldrazi here shortly. Get in for 1. Opponent, how do you like us now? Can you take the 1, Arena Zoomer? Opponent, more Creative Outbursts, oh god. All right, 5 mana. I mean, I guess we channel this. Like, what else are we doing with our lives? Not much. Stomping Grounds. I mean, I guess it could be Indomitable Creativity. Maybe we... Creative Outburst is usually Discover combo. If it's Creativity, Beseiju can kill a treasure. That's a thing. Trumpeting Carnosaur. All right, so definitely Discover combo. We do have these 2 bolts, though. Maybe these 2 bolts can save us. Opponent hits an Eldritch Evolution, sacks a Carnosaur, gets a Carnosaur. We just want to wait until they hit a clone, basically. Once they hit a clone to try to copy the Carnosaur, then we will double bolt it, and we just have such a slow clock. They might get another shot at it. All right, Repudiate, Replicate. Yes. Oh, that's actually kind of sneaky now that fetch lands are a thing, because you can stifle a fetch with it. Well, Lightning Bolt, Lightning Bolt. Get rid of the Carnosaur. Fizzle the Replicate. I just wish we had a clock. I wish we had a clock. Bloodbraid's kind of a clock. That's kind of a clock. Bloodbraid into Season Pyro. Well, I guess we could have played the land first, but... Stone Rain? I mean, Stone Rain's actually kind of relevant here, right? That keeps our opponent from playing a Carnosaur for a minute. Untaps. And... oh no, untap Steam Vents. Oh, come on. You know they top deck that too. You know it, because they would have cast it 2 turns ago to try to win. Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah. Our opponent now wins. So now they find the Eldritch Evolution, gets a Carnosaur, not infinite, but many Carnosaurs, and our deck doesn't have a way to beat that. Okay, so what is our most realistic plan for beating this deck? The challenge is, you saw there we had double bolt, but that's like all the removal we have. I think our best plan is to fully embrace the land destruction plan. That is our best bet. Like, Blood Moon is probably medium, to the point where I think we trim a little bit, because they can combo with red mana. Our best bet is to Stone Rain them. Stone Rain them, blow up their lands. If we can keep them from ever getting to 4 mana, then we win. Stone Rain, Karn, Liquid Metal Coating, or full-on mana denial. That's the goal here. Because we're not going to stop the combo once it gets going. It is unlikely. Like we saw there, you got to have 2 Lightning Bolts in hand, which is asking a lot to have double Lightning Bolt. I guess 1 Lightning Bolt can stop Appraiser, but if they go for Carnosaur, we need 2, and we just don't have another option. All right, we will play first. Oh, God. Okay. Okay, that's triple Stone Ring. Wow. Ask and you shall receive. Well, we got a game plan. And that is turn 1 Mana Dork. There's no way our opponent's going to kill it, because it'll discover their silly Discover plan, and we're just going to blow up lands, and then we're going to blow up more lands, and then we're going to blow up even more lands, and hope that that is enough. Ooh, and a Karn. Okay, we wouldn't mind drawing another land. All right, blow up your land. Stone Rain. Ponza number 1. Spire Bluff. Canal. Ugh. All right, Stone Rain. Awkwardly, we can't play the Utopia Sprawl and Stone Rain in the same turn. We really want 1 more land. Found it. Fast land. Fable the Mirror Breaker. Well, okay, Stone Rain. Stone Rain Tron assembled. It is turn 4. Our opponent is still on one land. Utopia Sprawl. Well, we're gonna play the Fable. We are currently out of land destruction. Although if we can get this Karn down, Karn for Liquid Metal Coating should lock it. Triple Stone Rain into Karn, blowing up land's opponent. Karn also shuts down their treasures, which is big. Ooh, all right, removals. Well, there's a land, that's huge. Maybe we just keep them? Yeah, Sand's actually good now. Since we drew the land, it's good. So now we get to Utopia Sprawl on the forest, on red, and then Karn. And, well, let's see if they can kill a Karn. Take down. I mean, we are 1,000,000% taking Liquid Metal Coating here. Opponent number 3, Fable the Mirror Breaker. I mean, that makes treasures, but those treasures can't be activated if we have Karn. So now we get to, I mean, yeah, let's play the Utopia Sprawl. It is time to start eating lands. It is time to, we're gonna close this out. Oh, I think we did it. We talked about it during sideboarding. Our one realistic path of winning is to keep our opponent from getting enough mana to comboing, and we actually did it. The odds of that are not high. I think we really high rolled here to draw 3 Stone Rains in our opening hand, but we actually did it. And now we got some creatures on the battlefield. We got a little bit of a clock. Karn gets to eat a land every turn. Treasures don't do anything. I think this is over. We just took down the hottest, scariest new combo deck in the format with a pile of Stone Rains. The power of land destruction is back on Magic Arena. Come on and vote it. Come on and vote it. You know, you're done. You know it. You can't do anything. And about it. Scoops it up, and wow, it feels good to get a Stone Rain win in 2023. It's been a minute, but this deck might actually be kind of good. Well, that's how you teach Arena Zoomers about the power of Ponza. Yeah, blow up all their lands, Blood Moon them, and blow up all the lands. Sweet, sweet. So what did we learn this week about Ponza in Timeless? And the deck actually kind of crushed it. Not only did we hand out some really sweet life lessons to Arena Zoomers, blowing up their lands, locking them with Blood Moons, but we actually went 7-2 with the deck, good for an almost 80% win percentage. So not only is the deck good at handing out some life lessons, it also might be pretty competitive. Looking for even more Magic? Make sure to check out last week's Against the Odds, where we went infinite with Gods in Standard, or maybe the video where we talked about the most hated card from every year of Magic the Gathering.